The more you educate your clients, the more you learn as well because you're researching it, you're figuring out, you get more comfortable with it. You've got to start somewhere.
If we're really looking at the interest of the customer, we can still plant the seed or talk about it and then transfer it to the person that can do it.
Endorsements represent a change. A change represents, an opportunity. Hi, everybody. This is our Ridiculously Amazing Insurance Agent podcast, and I am joined here by my great friends, colleagues, ridiculously amazing insurance consultants, Stephen Harrington, Desco T. Ooks, and Therese Potter. Therese's name is much easier to say. And we are kicking off January with an awesome new program that we have, which is how to cross-sell life insurance. And I just want to start off by saying the reason I kicked off with this is many of you guys out there went to the end of the year and you may have carriers that have life insurance goals, right? So now you're buying life insurance for your kids. So your kids are up to like 6 life policies to stay in touch with the goal or to hit a bonus. And the reality is most of us have so much opportunity in our current book for it. We want to break that down. So next year, you do not have to go find your second cousin to put life insurance on as another policy to hit these goals. It also means that you have a great client. It means that you have, a client who believes in coverage. And a lot of times in these carriers that wrap them together, like Erie, auto owners, these are big ones across the country. It's a great cost savings on the person's policy. So when we think about it, this drives the highest retention. It solves a lot of other challenges. Life just tends to be different, but still so valuable. So if this is your agency, check out our new course on how to cross-sell life insurance. And you guys could just watch a video every week in your team meetings and you'd build up this skill set really, really quick. So let's start with kind of just like, what is cross-selling life insurance? Just in case people out there are a little confused. It's the idea that you have your current customers and you want to sell more to them. Now, another great thing in this, where we are right now in the marketplace, is some of the markets are very closed. So agencies are trying to still figure out how to sell new business. Hello, life is there. And I know that sometimes people say, well, the carriers don't really want, somebody who has high blood pressure, et cetera. And we're going to talk about that in some of the future podcasts. There's something called final expense insurance you can pivot into. But here's the other thing, like all of those are great. If we target people by cross-selling, you can target the 28-year-old. You can talk to somebody about their kids having life insurance. So there's a lot of idea. And Therese, I'll ask you, I think, when we talk about it, maybe the word cross-selling can intimidate people, but what do you think about the concept of cross-educating our clients? I know you did this a lot when you were on the agency side, so maybe you can share a little bit.
I think the first stigma that we have to get past is the fear of the life insurance because we're so scared of the word. But the education part of it is super, super important because the younger you are, the cheaper the life insurance is because you're healthy.
It's the cheapest it's ever going to be today, we like to say.
Yes. So you have to educate your clients that they have to get it now. They have to get it today. And one of the things I talk about a lot is the wording you use. If you say life insurance, people usually think of death. So you have to figure out how to word it to make it appealing for the people that you're talking to, the aged people that you're talking to. And that is part of the education because you're using the wording that relates to them and their generation for the life insurance. The more you educate your clients, the more you learn as well because you're researching it, you're figuring out, you get more comfortable with it. You've got to start somewhere. Difficult to find. So start with talking to the clients about it. Talk to your financial person, whoever does the life insurance in your office. Ask them questions. Educate yourself by asking them questions and then use that information to educate your clients. It's super important and they'll thank you in the end.
I think that makes a really good point. And we like to use the word cross-education because if you're a truly great service person, your job is to educate your clients, right? So anybody in an agency can educate. And I want to bring up, the idea, maybe Stephen, you can talk about, there's always this rub in insurance. Oh, I'm licensed, I'm not licensed. And some people who are licensed still aren't super comfortable with life insurance because they don't use it all the time. What's your take on that?
Well, I think it's something that if we're really looking at the interest of the customer, we can still plant the seed or talk about it and then transfer it to the person that can do it.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, one of my favorite things to do was CSR teams, or the phone answer transfer people, as I like to call them, that some agencies have, the front desk that's like, oh, what's going on next? They're the control center. They're looking at the file, they're pulling it up, and they're like, oh, I see you have home, auto, and umbrella with us. Do you have any life insurance that you control? And people are like, nope, great. Let me get you over to the life department.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, it's asking a question and then sending it where it needs to go. It doesn't have to be rocket science.
Well, and let's be honest, most agencies are going to do term, right?
Mhm.
Like, we just got Buy, Sell, and Me. That was a very complex product that requires an expert. That's where we went
And a
to,
whole
right?
lot of underwriting.
There actually wasn't.
No.
The company was just under an underwriting guideline, and I already had life insurance, and I was in, I guess, a moderate age bracket.
Mm,
So they didn't even need paramed.
okay.
I know, it was crazy. And I had a business valuation, and so whatever. But yeah, so a good expert, I guess, has the products that get you through underwriting quickly. But I do think that the idea is anyone in agency can educate. Like, I might not know everything about crop insurance. It doesn't mean I can't talk about it, or group
Mhm.
benefits. Like, all you have to do is just get them to the right people. So I want to break down, like, there's 3 buckets that we go through as far as when you can cross educate about life. Okay. And again, we're trying to stop you from that end of year scramble. We're trying to bump your retention by doing this. And we're trying to get you a better quality client, because a client who buys life insurance by nature is a better quality customer for your agency, right? Like, they believe in coverage, they understand it. They're not scraping together the pennies to sometimes make their auto payment, right? Like, I call this adulting. They are excellent in the world of adulting. So the first one is new business, right? So we write some new business. And again, some markets, it's very hard to place business right now, or we're finding that the underwriting restrictions are so high. So that means to me, the stuff that you can write, you need to make sure you are multi-lining out as much as possible to dive into that. So for me, I think that, we should include a preliminary life insurance quote with every quote we do, personal or commercial, right? So, and this is where maybe Teresa, you can kind of talk about it coming from doing that, like on the front lines too, where, some people are like, well, I don't know what they weigh or what they're smoking and all that. And I remind people, this is a sales process. We cast a very wide net. You can do a very preliminary quote, right? And most of the carriers where they want you to bundle things, it's very easy. So you can make some general assumptions and just say, hey, if you're of average height and weight and a non-smoker, this is where it would be. If they, oh, I'm a smoker. Okay, let's just requote it. Like, we don't have, we're casting a net, right, Therese? What is your thoughts on that?
Well, there are charts out there with the carriers that write the life insurance, and it's really easy. Like Kelly said, with height, weight, you can just look at the chart and go, this is approximately where you would land. And, there's other
for average, right? Like,
Yes.
just say, hey, average weight, you don't have to be like, well, I don't know if they're 300 pounds. You're not going to ask them, like,
Right.
when you're quoting their home and auto, how much do you weigh? If you get
Yes.
a copy of their driver's license, it might be on there though.
Maybe. And I know the height is on there. I don't think the
I'm like, I'm now pulling out my license to look. And how accurate is it?
But I think as agents, we overthink it. We overthink it. We are so worried that they're going to ask us a question that we don't know the answer to. And that's not the way to approach it. We have to just think to ourselves, what if something happens to them? And it's so true that agents, that they hustle and bustle at the end of the year, because my first boss, when I first got into insurance, end of the year, man, my kids had policies, I had policies, and he paid for them.
Mhm.
And of course, then they were eventually transferred into my name and I have them. But both my kids have life insurance because I am an insurance agent. I got them life at a very young age, and I transfer it to them now that they're young adults, and then they handle it. And they can also, transfer those policies and switch them over to different policies if they'd like. So there's a lot of options when it comes to life insurance, especially with terms. Term is a great place to start. It's really economical. And then eventually, when they get to a better place, they can roll it over to whole life or other types of policies. So there are so many options. So you just have to get your feet through the door, get your customers' feet through the door, just to get that little, notch in their head that's like, oh, yeah, I don't have life insurance. What if something happens?
Yeah.
And nobody likes to think about that, but it's better to be prepared than not be prepared. Especially with the pandemic and everything, the world changed and it made people think more about, how fragile life is. And that's a good, it was a good thing, a bad thing, but a good thing to get people to think more about their future and how they want to protect their family and their assets.
Yeah, my husband always laughs whenever he's around insurance people. He's like, "You guys are all so morbid." And I'm like, "Well, I mean, it's part of it." But I believe it needs to be part of your quote sheet and it also needs to be part of your process. Like, I don't know why, if one of your major carriers has these life goals, you don't require a life quote with every new business. Like, you as the leader can say, "That's our process and that's what we're doing, and it's not up to you." Right? Like, so Stephen, let's go to renewal reviews, right? So we
Yep.
have all these customers on the books. It's great to do new. We've got these customers on the books. What do you think about adding, life to renewal reviews?
I think it's a perfect time to do it. It's something where we're already building a better relationship, finding out more information. And I think it's a great time to ask the question. And it's planting another opportunity. It's giving us another time to talk about it. I also think that we way overthink life because one of my favorite things during efficiency training is like, what can we quote over the phone? And everyone's like, nothing. The market's horrible. I'm like, okay, well, it's not. It is what it is. And I understand we can't necessarily quote everything every time over the phone. What about term? Can we quote term life? And they're like, well, yeah. I'm like, look at that. We found an opportunity. So it's something where if we have the chart of the things we talked about previously and we're building a relationship with the client, why not bring it up?
Mm-hmm.
I have so many term policies because I have an amazing life person that chases me down and makes me buy things and then calls me when it's time to convert it to other things.
Yeah.
But it also, I mean, if we're not asking the question of where they have it, I think it's almost a disservice, even if we don't specifically write it. We can
Well,
still give them to the resource that does.
I also think too, people get frustrated. Well, like I talk about nobody does it, but people call you 3 months from now, 4 months from now, 6 months from now, because
Right.
something shifts or they're like, this is something we need to get in order, right? They know you do it. People would rather go to somebody that they've already doing business with than to like, let me Google life insurance. Like I don't think anybody wants to like really go online to a stranger if they can avoid it when talking about something this like in depth, right? And the last one is endorsements. Endorsements represent a change. A change represents, an opportunity. So maybe you're buying, you're changing addresses. Maybe you're getting a newer car. Maybe, you're looking at buying a home and changing up to a bigger home. These all represent triggers for life insurance. You're putting your teenager on the policy, life insurance, like I just think that endorsements also like that's an opportunity. And if you look in our course, we give you an endorsement form, a new business form, and a renewal review call form that all talk about life insurance. So now we're just inserting it into normal things that we do with just a question. And you guys both said people overthink it. I think instead we just have to say, like, let's just have a conversation. Don't jump and put the cart before the horse of like, well, what if they ask me all these questions? What if you just start a conversation? Do you have life insurance?
Yeah.
And then you see where it goes. Like, I don't know. It's not a choose your own adventure novel.
No.
There are some objections that you get that we're going to dive deeper into some of the podcasts this week, but I don't need it. It's too expensive. And I want to tell everybody this, everybody needs life insurance because we are all guaranteed to die. Right. And even if you're thinking to yourself, okay, well, like, I don't need it. Like, but there's enough money to bury me and my kids will be fine. It's tax free. So I'm still giving a gift beyond the grave because I won't be able to haunt you at Christmas. And the other half is it's too expensive. I want to just be upfront, even though we'll address this later on in some other podcasts. They don't know until they see a quote.
Right.
Like we talk about this all the time in insurance. Oh, I can't afford it. You don't know what it costs.
Well, a lot of times you can't afford to not have it.
Yeah. So just think of it this way, right? We know that we need to insert life in. You don't want to scramble at the end of the year. If you want to bump your retention, if that's on your strategic plan for the year, you want to get a better quality client. You need to feed new business because the markets are tight. Life insurance is your game plan and your go-to. So let's make sure we do that. And if your team needs help with this, let's get them the training that they need with our new course on how to cross-sell life insurance. And you get all the tips. Again, simple as let's watch one video a week together. That's 10 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
If you did that for the whole quarter, you will start getting more life and things will go easier and simpler in your agency. So check it out. Our next podcast is educating clients with life insurance scripts. So we're actually going to go ahead and go through some top life insurance scripts that we can all use. So Therese and Stephen, thank you so much. And we are going to have a special guest on our next podcast. So make sure you stay tuned. Bye, everybody.
Bye.